Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. What I wanted to do in this video is give you a brief intro to Salesforce. Now the reason I'm doing this video is because this video is actually going to be the beginning of a series of videos related to Salesforce coding interview assignments that I've received a while back. So let's jump right into it. These are the topics that I'm going to be covering in this video. What is Salesforce? How does it work? Going to give you guys some coding examples. I'm then going to talk about the setup and the walkthrough. So, first of all, what is Salesforce? Salesforce is a CRM software, basically a customer relationship management software. It's basically a software that helps companies have better relationships with their customers. It's a software that manages a company's data focused on customer and sales details. It also has a variety of features that allow customization of data structures and GUI to suit the needs of business accordingly. So to pretty much summarize it, it is an application that both benefits the company as well as the customer. And it just makes the relationship between the two stronger. Now, how does Salesforce work? Now, in the next slide, I'm not going to go too much in detail about all the particulars of Salesforce. I just wanted to touch on some of the key points in Salesforce that are going to be helpful to us as I'm going through and showing you guys these coding interview assignments. So basically, for each one of the coding interview assignments, I'm going to actually walk you guys through them, and I just want to make sure that I'm touching only on the key points that are beneficial for me and you guys to be working together on these assignments. All right, so as I said, Salesforce, it has a lot of components to it. There's a lot that goes into the Salesforce application, but what I wanted to do here is just focus on the basics of creating a general Salesforce application. All right, so building Salesforce applications are based on three things: VisualForce pages, Apex classes, and the database. The VisualForce page is basically going to be the page that is associated with what the user visually sees. The Apex class is basically a class that is associated with a lot of the logic behind the application itself. And then the database is basically used to store all the data. And what's going to happen is that all these three components are going to be working together in order to help you build a fully functioning Salesforce application. Another thing I wanted to say is that the basic Salesforce application is based on the MVC design pattern. And to explain it a little bit more clearly, I have a picture here. So as you can see here, we have ourselves our model. We have a model which is basically just going to be the database, which consists of data that we're going to be using in our application, pretty much. And then we have our controller. This controller is basically going to consist of a lot of the logic or the back-end functionality of the application. So basically what we're going to do in this Apex class is pull information from this database that is going to be used within our application as a whole. And as far as the view, it should be pretty straightforward. The view, it would also be called the VisualForce page, and it's basically the user interface. It's basically going to be the interface that we're going to use in order to help present information. So just remember, we have a database, we have an Apex class, which is here, also can be labeled the controller, and then we have a view, which is going to be the VisualForce page. That's pretty much it's pretty much the simplest way to break it down, and hopefully you guys understand. And like I always say in each video, if you have any questions about this, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Now what I wanted to do is touch on some coding examples. So what I have here is an Apex class. And as you can see, we have some Apex code down here. Now, if you look at the class, you'll realize that this is pretty similar to Java programming language. We have our public class, interview one, and as you can see, it's pretty similar. We have our open curly brace, close curly brace at the end. We also have our constructor here. And then after that, we have this method that is called getAccounts. Now, getAccounts is a method that returns a list, and each element in that list is going to be an account object, just like you see here. Now, as you can see, we have ourselves a return, and basically this is all that's being returned. Now, as you realize, one of the key differences between this Apex class when it comes to looking up information within the database is that it's pretty simple to simply use an SQL query right here in between these two square brackets. If you realize in Java, when you're trying to pull information from the database, you would have to go through and connect the database, set the password, as well as a username to actually log into your database. You would also have to use some statements as well as maybe a result set to loop through each one of the records and then pull the information that you want. But as you can see here in the Apex class, you can simply just write out the SQL query itself. You have select ID, name, phone, website, billing state from the accounts table. And then what we want to do is order by name. So what we're going to have now is just a list, and each element in that list is going to be a record from this table, and each element in the list is going to be sorted by the account name. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It's pretty straightforward, and yeah, basically I hope you guys comprehend this. So let's talk about VisualForce pages now. So this is a VisualForce page. This is how it looks. As you can see, it's pretty similar to an HTML page, but as you can see, it looks slightly different. We still have our opening and closing tags. We have our Apex page opening tag here. We then have our Apex page closing tag here. And as you can see, we have a couple of other elements. Now, I think one of the things that you really need to know about when it comes to writing VisualForce pages is what these tags actually mean. So as you can see here, we have our section header, which basically is going to give us basically the name of this section header that we have. It's going to make a whole lot more sense once I actually go about and walk you guys through this and show you exactly what it does. But as you can see, just wanted to give you guys a brief example of how it works. As you can see, there's an H. It looks just like HTML. It just has some slight differences between it here. Another thing I can talk about is this Apex page block table. And we have these attributes that we can also pass within this element here, a variable as well as a value. What's happening here is that we're creating a variable to pull information from the accounts, this accounts table that we have here. So we can look up and display all that information, the accounts.name, accounts.billing state, and the phone as well as the website. So I just wanted to run through and give you guys just a brief example of what a VisualForce page looks like. As I said before, I'm going to be getting a whole lot more in detail when I walk you guys through this. There's actually going to be a video for each one of the coding interview assignments that I do. So that's pretty much it for a VisualForce page. All right, so what I wanted to do here is to talk about the setup and the walkthrough. So what I'm going to do is walk you guys through how to go about and set up an account on Salesforce, as well as give you a walkthrough of Salesforce. Now, as I said before, the walkthrough probably won't be as detailed because I just want to focus on the things that are going to be beneficial and helpful to the both of us when I'm walking you guys through the coding interview assignments. As I said before, there's a lot of things that are inside of Salesforce. There's some things that I'm not 100% familiar with, but I just wanted to focus on some of the key things that are going to be helping us when I actually walk you through these coding interview assignments. All right, so let's jump right into it. Hi guys, so what I'm going to do in this part of the video is just give you a quick little rundown of how Salesforce works. So what you need to do first is open up yourself a browser and then go to developer.salesforce.com. Once you make it to a page that looks like this, what you want to do is go up to the top right hand corner and then click sign up. Once you click sign up, it's actually going to take you to this page. And as you can see on the right side of this page, you'll have the ability to add your name, email address, role, company, country, postal code, and all this information here. And then after that, you just will simply click sign me up. After you click sign me up, what you want to do is log in. So once you log in, since I already have an account, I'm just going to simply log in. And you're going to see pretty much the same page. Is just going to have in the top right hand corner the name of your account. All right, and the page should look like this as soon as you log in. Now, what you need to do now is go up to the top right hand corner, click on this drop down button right under your account name, and then click on My Developer Account. This is going to be the account that we're going to jump into, which helps us develop Salesforce applications. All right. So what you're going to see here is all these tabs at the top. We're going to make it to this page, and basically this is going to be the developer account that we have here. So at the top on this bar, we have all these options here, all these tabs. So you have a home tab, which is basically going to be a tab which displays information, pretty much your account name. You can write post, and I think it's basically supposed to be something like a community sharing type site. So basically, if you post a status of some sort and other people are also working, let's just say on the same application, you'll be able to see their updates accordingly. All right, and then we have a couple of other tabs here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just wanted to show you that some of the tabs up here, just like I explained in my previous video, are associated with the database or the database tables. So if we, for example, just go to accounts here and we make our way down here, we're going to see a view. We have the ability to view accounts based on these particular views. So right now we're just going to go to all accounts and then we're going to click go. Going to click go. What we're going to have is the accounts table. Now in this accounts table, we have an account name, account site, billing state and province, phone, type, and account owner alias. So basically what this is basically it looks something like a database, or actually something like a table, which includes all this information. And as you remember in what I just showed you in the presentation, the Salesforce application is made up of 3 components: the database, the VISUALFORCE page, as well as an Apex page. So this is going to be pretty helpful when it comes to looking up the information that you need when creating your application. We also have a tab up here for contacts. You press go. You're going to have a list of information here as well. All right. So in order to make it back, well, in order to make it to the actual dashboard page, which shows us everything, we need to go up to the top right hand corner and click setup. When we click setup, we're going to get a page that looks like this. So in this page, you're going to see that we have a list of containers here. We have a getting started container. This is something that is used to build an app. Yeah, basically it just takes you, it just helps you go about building a Salesforce app. I haven't really used these within this container yet, but I just wanted to help you guys understand exactly how we're going to go about building this Salesforce application. So as you can see here on this page, there are a lot of components here in Salesforce that I haven't touched on. And what I wanted to do in this video is just primarily focus on what we're going to be using to develop the applications based on my coding interview assignment. So you remember that I said that when it comes to creating a Salesforce application, we know we need an Apex page, and we know we also need a VISUALFORCE page as well as a database. But we're going to focus on just the Apex page and the VISUALFORCE page right now. So this is what you need to do. You go to the left-hand side of the screen, and then we're going to scroll down, make our way to this sidebar. We have Administer section, we have a Build section, Deploy section, and a Monitor section. What we're going to be using when it comes to creating an Apex page, we're going to go under Build, and then we're going to go under Develop. Then we have this thing here. See this link? Apex classes. We click this, and then it's going to show us a list of all the Apex classes that we have created. Since I've worked with Salesforce before, these are some of the Apex classes that already exist and that I have created. So if I were to click this, interview 1, we're going to have the code that I've written for coding interview question number 1. And then you have the ability to edit the page, delete the page, download the page, show dependencies, and security. So basically this is the code that I've written in the Apex class for the first coding interview assignment. So what we want to do is go back, and as you can see here, we're back at our screen of Apex classes. And if we wanted to create a new Apex class, we would just go to New, this button here. And then from there, we would simply just start writing our code. And that's pretty much it. So let's go back. All right, so that's how you would go about accessing the that's how you would go about creating Apex classes. So we're gonna go to Build now, and now we're gonna focus on VISUALFORCE pages. Under Build, go to Develop. Under here, we're gonna see VISUALFORCE pages. We click this, and we're going to have a list of all of our VISUALFORCE pages. These are all the VISUALFORCE pages that I've created in relation to the coding interview assignment that I had to complete for this particular role for this company I was working with. And if I were to click on interview 1, this is the VISUALFORCE page code that I've written, which is going to be working with that Apex class that I just showed you. So just like I said in my presentation, I want to really just ingrain this into all of your heads. So the Apex page and the VISUALFORCE page are going to be working together to build a Salesforce application. It's also going to work in conjunction with the database as well, but these classes work with each other, the VISUALFORCE page as well as the Apex page. And this is the code that I've written for coding interview assignment number 1. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to keep this video really short and sweet because I didn't want to really go too crazy, with explaining, a lot of stuff here and confusing you guys. So basically, let's go up to setup again. And that's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys. I just wanted to show you where you would go to create an Apex page, also where you would go to create a VISUALFORCE page, and I also just wanted to show you what the database looks like, because those are the three things that we're going to be using to develop a Salesforce application. All right, guys, so if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video if you've learned something here. And also, don't forget to subscribe. And see you in the next one.